Tickets, please.
Fast.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 awesome Indiana Jones moments.
Don't look at it. Shut your eyes, Mary, and don't look at it no matter what happens.
For this list, we're looking at scenes from all 5 movies that have great action, brilliant dialogue, or are just plain iconic. Since we'll be discussing major plot points, consider this your spoiler warning. Which moment from the classic adventure franchise had you cheering? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. Hey Mojoholics! For a chance to win cash prizes, play our live daily trivia challenges every day at 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern only at WatchMojo.com/play. Number 20. Overcoming 3 trials. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Well, he who finds the Grail must face the final challenge.
What final challenge?
3 devices of such lethal cunning.
To reach the Holy Grail, Indy has to put his faith and his wits to the test. 3 challenges stand between him and his ultimate goal. And after Walter Donovan shoots his dad, Henry Jones Sr., the clock starts ticking because only the Grail can save him. Fortunately, the elder Jones has collected clues in his diary that will help his son reach it in one piece. Each challenge is intelligent and exciting. And throughout the sequence, we get small comedic beats and see how in sync the father and son really are.
Jehovah. But in the Latin alphabet, Jehovah begins with an I.
Not only does Indiana prove his knowledge of theology in the tests, he also proves himself worthy of the Cup of Christ. Number 19. New York City Horse Chase. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Considering how much of a beating Indy's body has taken over the years, we're amazed he can still walk, let alone ride a horse with so much skill.
I've been tortured with voodoo. Been shot 9 times, including once by your father.
To escape the evil henchmen who are after him, he runs into a parade celebrating the moon landing. Indy eventually finds himself face to face with a police horse. After jumping on, he rides through the middle of the parade with henchmen hot on his heels. Indy even evades a motorcycle driving pursuer by taking a horse into the subway and narrowly avoiding 2 trains. The pace of this scene is dialed up to 11. A ton of credit also goes to Harrison Ford, who can still totally sell a heart-pounding action sequence after all these years.
Dr. Jones, get him.
Number 18. Jumping out of a plane without parachutes. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. After escaping from the Kingpin Lao Che at a nightclub, Indy, Short Round, and lounge singer Willie board a plane, thinking they're finally safe. But they don't know that the plane belongs to Lao. Once they're airborne, the pilots bail out.
I think we got a big problem.
Dr. Jones!
Shorty!
Dr. Jones! No more parachutes!
The unlikely trio then has no choice but to do the same by using an inflatable raft instead of parachutes. It's a good thing Dr. Jones is the luckiest man alive. Not only did they survive the jump, they also endured a fall from an impossibly high cliff and a ride on raging river rapids. This sequence is one of Indy's wildest escapes, and that's saying something.
All right, Shorty. You okay?
Number 17. Finding one crate among thousands. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
This warehouse is where you and your government have hidden all of your secrets, yes?
This is a military warehouse. I've never been here before in my life.
If this warehouse looked familiar to fans, that's because they last saw the Ark of the Covenant being packed away here at the end of Raiders. The 4th movie finally let us learn what else is stashed in this mysterious location. Since Soviet agents are after it, we know it must be valuable. How will it be possible to locate one specific box out of all these? Fortunately, Indy knows that particular crate has a unique magnetic property.
The contents of that box are highly magnetized. I need gunpowder. You want my help? Or not?
Using gunpowder and shot from some shotgun shells, he quickly tracks it down. Fans have pointed out that the science of this scene wasn't 100% accurate, but it was still cool to watch Indy flex his considerable knowledge to find an interdimensional needle in a haystack. Number 16. Anything Goes. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The second installment in the franchise wastes no time in getting straight to the thrilling action. After a suave Indy arrives at a nightclub, he attempts to trade the remains of an ancient Chinese emperor for a gigantic diamond. But Lao Che betrays the explorer by poisoning his champagne and having a henchman slaughter an ally.
I followed you on many adventures into the great unknown mystery. I go first, Indy.
Fortunately, Indy gets swift revenge by using a food skewer to turn things around. As Indy tries to recover the antidote in the chaos, the band starts playing again. They provide a hilariously perfect soundtrack for this terrific opening. As the icing on the cake, Short Round showed up to help Indy and his new ally Willie get away.
Short Round, step on it.
Okie dokie, Dr. Jones, hold on to your potatoes.
Number 15, Train Escape, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. This sequence feels straight out of the old-school Indiana Jones movies from the 1980s.
We gotta get there first.
I can't do that!
You wanna stop for a little lie down?
And thanks to a revolutionary new de-aging process, it looks like one too. In 1944, Indy and his colleague Basil Shaw find themselves on a train full of Nazis and stolen artifacts. The duo must escape while also stealing a crucial dial created by the ancient mathematician Archimedes. In an exciting sequence, we get gunplay, a fistfight atop a train, and characters narrowly avoiding tunnels. The historic setting and high stakes made for a pulse-pounding scene that made us remember why we fell in love with Indy in the first place.
Follow me.
Towards the gun!
Away from the Nazis.
Number 14, Bar Fight in Nepal, Raiders of the Lost Ark. This brilliant introduction shows us that Marion Ravenwood is more than a match for Indiana Jones. After winning a drinking contest with a man roughly twice her size, she finds Indy on her doorstep. Unfortunately, the villainous Major Arnold Tote is not far behind him. Both pirates are searching for a bronze medallion that will lead them to the Ark of the Covenant.
Why don't you tell me where the piece is right now?
Listen, Mac. I don't know what kind of people you're used to dealing with, but nobody tells me what to do in my place.
Of course, it's not long before a fight breaks out. Together, Indy and Marion are able to take on the gang of armed men. But Marion's bar burns to the ground in the process. As usual, the characters don't spend much time standing around talking. Instead, we learn what we need to know about their characters with actions while the story keeps moving.
Well, Jones, these two haven't forgotten how to show a lady a good time.
Number 13, Tied Up in a Fire, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. For this scene, Indy has been captured again. It's honestly an occupational hazard. This time around, he's tied up alongside his father. But the adventurer did have a clever plan to escape. Unfortunately, the plan goes awry and the two find themselves surrounded by a rapidly spreading fire.
I gotta tell you something.
Don't get sentimental now, Dad. Save it till we get out of here.
The floor's on fire. See?
And the chair.
They ironically take shelter in a large fireplace. However, when they accidentally discover a secret room, the spies working in it soon pose yet another threat. This scene is packed to the fedora brim with both suspense and humor. Sean Connery's straight man delivery and comedic physical performance outshine all the flames.
Our situation has not improved.
Listen, Dad, I'm almost free.
Number 12, Fighting the Burly Mechanic, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
We're gonna fly it out of here. That Ark gets loaded, we're already gonna be on the plane.
As Indy attempts to steal a plane, he gets into a deadly fight beneath its spinning propellers with a very large mechanic. The conflict gets more dangerous as the pilot shoots at Indy, the plane starts moving, and a fire breaks out. The fight ramps up in intensity as the scene went on, making it impossible to look away from the screen. And if you thought the beefy man really looked like a fighter, it's because he was played by professional boxer and wrestler Pat Roach. In the end, Indy gets lucky once more and sees the mechanic get done in by his own plane. We're glad the hero survived this uneven battle to live to fight another day.
Holy smoke, my friends! I'm so pleased you're not dead!
Number 11, Human Sacrifice, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Undoubtedly one of the scariest parts of the series, this scene gave plenty of 80s kids nightmares. After discovering a secret passageway in the palace walls, Indy, Willie, and Short Round stumble upon a cult ritual.
It's a Thuggee ceremony. They're worshiping Kali.
They watch in horror as a terrified man is shackled into a metal cage. To make matters worse, cult leader Mola Ram pulls out the victim's still beating heart. Scenes like this one led to parents complaining about the PG-rated film's violence. After discussions, an entirely new way to classify films was born. Thanks to this dark scene, the industry got the PG-13 rating. This classification opened the door for younger audiences to see intense action scenes like this on their own.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Nobody's seen this for 100 years.
Number 10. He chose poorly. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. After Indy finally reached the resting place of the Holy Grail, he had to choose the right cup from among dozens.
Which one is it? You must choose. But choose wisely.
Of course, villains Walter Donovan and Elsa Schneider want the Grail for themselves. Elsa eventually chooses a gold cup encrusted with jewels. While it's a fitting symbol of hubris, it's not exactly the correct choice. The knowing look she gives Indy makes us wonder if she did it on purpose. In a moment that scared the wits out of anyone who saw it as a child, we soon discovered that it was not the Holy Grail when her partner ages to nothing in an instant. His karmic punishment was extremely cathartic for moviegoers.
He chose poorly.
Number 9. Motorcycle Chase. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Get on, Chris!
We have to admit that some of the action scenes in this movie are a little silly. But a chase scene that has Indy and Mutt on a motorcycle pursued by Soviet agents is classic Indiana Jones. The bike weaves through traffic and then through the grounds of the college. All the while, their enemies are just a few steps behind. While it's fast and exciting, it also feels grounded in reality thanks to the amazing stunt work. And it's certified that the franchise was still capable of bringing the thrills. And true to form, the writers even threw in a bit of tongue-in-cheek humor to cap off the action.
Want to be a good archaeologist? You gotta get out of the library!
Number 8. Minecart Chase. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. To escape cultists, Indy, Willie, and Short Round jump into a minecart. The trio then ends up on a super fast-paced roller coaster ride through a maze of tunnels. The production team built both a full-size track and a miniature one for filming. When looking back, the two are blended together so seamlessly that it's almost impossible to tell where one ends and the other begins. If they weren't being chased and shot at by the cult members, we bet the trio would be having lots of fun. Okay, maybe just Indy and Short Round would be the only ones who enjoyed it.
Water! 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 Water!
Number 7. Opening the Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Although it appears to hold nothing but sand at first glance, the Ark of the Covenant isn't just a beautiful archaeological relic. It contains the literal power of God. Luckily, Indiana takes that power much more seriously than the Germans do. Thanks to his quick thinking, he and Marion close their eyes as the spirits inside the Ark reveal themselves. In a terrifying display of fiery energy, the villains are completely immolated by the force of the Ark. Seeing the sinister bads destroyed by the very power they sought to control was fantastic. In the end, Indy didn't have to lift a finger to win. He just had to close his eyes.
The Ark is a source of unspeakable power, and it has to be researched.
And it will be, I assure you, Dr. Brody, Dr. Jones. We have top men working on it right now.
Number 6. Boy Scout Heroics. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. In the third installment of the franchise, we learn a bit more about Indy's family life and backstory. As it turns out, Henry Jones Jr. has had a passion for archaeology and a fearless sense of adventure since he was a teenager.
That cross is an important artifact. It belongs in a museum.
He demonstrates his talents when he runs across a group of men digging for ancient artifacts during a Boy Scout field trip. After he steals a gold crucifix from them, they pursue him across the Utah desert and even through a circus train. Along the way, we discover the origins of the scar on his chin and his fear of snakes. He even gets his signature fedora from the gang's leader. The extended flashback scene provided a fun look into Indy's origins.
You lost today, kid.
But it doesn't mean you have to like it.
Number 5. Truck Chase, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Meet me at Omar's. Be ready for me. I'm going after that truck. Oh. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go.
Dr. Jones was so determined to recover the Ark that he was willing to take on an entire German battalion by himself. The odds seemed insurmountable as Indy leapt from his horse into an entire convoy of soldiers carrying the Ark. Yet in a pulse-pounding sequence that moves at breakneck speed, he took out enemies one by one and by the carloads. Indy nearly got killed during his relentless pursuit. He got shot in the shoulder and even got dragged behind the truck for a moment in one of the most well-known shots in the franchise. However, watching Indy take the hits and keep on going is one of the things fans love most about this series.
The Ark is on board. Nothing is lacking now that you are here. Or what is left of you.
Number 4. Cutting and Beating the Bridge, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Let her go, Molaram! You are in a position unsuitable to give orders.
What do you do when you're suspended over crocodile-infested waters and surrounded by murderous cult members? If you're Dr. Jones, you take advantage of the opportunity to do something unpredictable. In what has to be one of the most hardcore moves of his career, Indy cuts through a rope bridge packed with bad guys.
Molaram, prepare to meet Kali in hell.
His actions instantly sent most of his enemies plunging into the river below. Unfortunately, Indy still had to fight Mola Ram and avoid arrows to get back on solid ground. The sequence was full of nail-biting tension and gasp-inducing falls. And it all builds up to the satisfying moment where Indy won the day by using his smarts to come out ahead. Number 3. Rescuing Marcus and Henry from the tank, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Colonel! Jones is getting away!
I think not, Herr Donovan.
Not that Jones, the other Jones!
In a battle of horse versus tank, you wouldn't normally expect the horse to win. But the odds were different when Indiana Jones was in the saddle. When he and his father tried to rescue their ally Marcus from the belly of the steel beast, Henry Jones Sr. soon ended up imprisoned with Brody. Luckily, Indy had courage, quick wits, and some seriously impressive equestrian skills. The hero single-handedly defeated about a dozen soldiers and got Marcus and his father to safety. And in between the non-stop action, there was just enough humor to keep you laughing. Although Indy still nearly goes over a cliff with the tank, he did walk away from this incident victorious.
I thought I'd lost you, boy. I thought you had to, sir.
Number 2. Bringing a gun to a sword fight, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Throughout the franchise, the stories masterfully blended action with comedy. Filmmakers often added a lighthearted touch to violent scenes that would otherwise get pretty grim. A moment in Cairo ranked among one of the most famous bits of black humor. When armed mercenaries were after Indy and Marion, a swordsman made a big show of intimidating Indiana. The audience was primed for another hand-to-hand showdown. However, Indy just takes out a gun and shoots the man. Originally, an extended fight was planned, but Harrison Ford was too sick the day of shooting to make it happen. This subversion was hilarious and unexpected. It provided a much-needed break in the tension during a harrowing sequence and gave us an iconic moment.
Please sit down before you fall down. We can at least behave like civilized people.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Temple Escape, Raiders of the Lost Ark. What a way to start a franchise. In just 10 minutes, this scene told the audience everything they needed to know about the film. It established Indy's knowledge and skill as an archaeologist and let everyone know that the next 2 hours would be packed with adventure. It was also brilliantly constructed. The pace on the way into the temple is slow, building suspense and laying out the booby traps that Indy will have to race through on his way out. And obviously, we cannot forget the boulder he has to run from. This opening sequence is one of the greatest in film history, and truly worthy of the series of films that would follow it.
Expert on the occult, and how does one say it? Obtainer of rare antiquities.
One way of saying it. Why don't you sit down? You'll be more comfortable.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.